Brothers, welcome. Nothing unifies a group more than having a common cause to fight against. This is called the realistic group conflict theory. It was first developed in the 1970s during the Robbers Cave experiment. During this experiment, they took 22 11-year-old boys and split them into two groups who would stay out of summer camp competing against each other for the rest of summer. Now, they would get certain rewards or certain punishments if they won or lost. This experiment had to be ended early because the boys' hatred toward each other grew to such extents that the experimenters no longer saw it as ethical to continue. Now, why are we talking about this today? Well, it's because this situation has developed in Territorial with the Corgi and the OG clan. I have become that rallying cause for the OG clan to rally against, and I'd like to talk about why. Their anger towards me mostly stems from the fact that I'm a YouTuber and that I have a clan, with the perceived notion that I am an outsider who just happens to have an army of 9-year-olds who will do my bidding, and that is why we were the number one clan. To understand myself and the Corgi clan, it's important to talk about how this all got started. So, back ironically, around this time last year, I hit 500 subscribers. And for hitting 500 subscribers, I said, hey, if you want to play with me, I'd love to interact with you. Let's set a time and get together, and we'll get on Discord and we'll play some games of Territorial together. When we joined up, we had a moment of confusion of how we're going to be on the same team. And it was, well, do you guys want to do like CC? Do you want to do Corgi? What do you want to do this? People said, let's just do Corgi. Boom, done. That was it. Now, as I've grown, the channel's grown, the audience has grown, the clan has grown. And I understand the frustration of playing in a team's game with unbalanced teams. And to the dev's credit, he's implemented a lot of changes that have gone to fight this and make it more transparent and clear as to those types of battles. So he has implemented number one, allowing you to see what clans are in what games and how many of them are there if you don't want to play in those types of games. And two, he has readjusted the amount of teams in a game. So, for instance, if based off the number of players on one team. So, for instance, if you join an 8-team battle, but there's 30 people on one team and 4 on the rest of the teams, it will consolidate all those other teams into one team. So it's instead of an 1v7, it's a 1v1, which I have publicly stated many times I am a huge fan of. In addition to that, from my perspective, I have also implemented a lot of challenges during maps to make things a little bit more balanced and fair, such as spawning on islands or spawning, everyone's got to spawn in Italy, things like that. But one important thing to know is that this group effect alone is not the reason we have ever hit number one. Its effect on the Corey clan has been drastically overstated. Up until July of this year, when I went full time, I would stream 1 to 3 times a month, mostly towards the one side, as we hit 500 subscribers, as a way to celebrate hitting that milestone with subscribers. Now, when we would play for 2 hours, one day of a week, and after that, we'd move to free for alls. So, did that get some points to the Corgi clan? Absolutely. Is that the reason we ever hit number one? Absolutely not. There are a number of YouTubers who also have clans that can point out this contradiction. So, what my biggest gripe against this mindset of it's Corgi with an army of 9-year-olds is it really diminishes the hard work of a lot of good people who put a lot of effort into the Corgi clan outside of Clan Wars for the Corgi clan to even be in the top 10. And to be honest with you, the Corgi clan has never been about being on the leaderboard or beating other people. It's always been a way for me to interact with fans, build a fun community of like minded people, share memes, things like that. Very lighthearted. And I understand when we hit number one, that put a target on our back. I am all for one of having a good spirited rivalry. You know, I very much embrace it. The TR clan can attest for this. When they tried to really take us down one Clan Wars, we ended up becoming pretty good friends and did a joint grind together. So for the volume and toxicity that comes along with being first place, I was ready for that. However, one clan took that to a completely different level, and that was the OG clan. One of the many things they said was that the Corgi clan doesn't exist. It's not a real one. And so they are truly the number one clan. Here was my response to the staff when this arose, and there was some internal conflict about an anger brewing towards the OG clan. Staff perspective, there was never any mindset of driving hatred towards the OG clan or directing any hatred towards them. In fact, it was very much the opposite. And when I sent this message out to the staff, I was just to reinforce that this was never going to be something that we would engage in. As you can see here, I said, hey, let's not focus on external factors. Let's focus on how to make ourselves better and become a more friendly environment for new people. And in addition to that, in my second statement, you can see that OG doesn't think we exist. My response was, we have nothing but respect for them and honestly hope that we can become friends down the road. Everyone was on board for this, and that became our mantra moving forward. Now, as you know, I try and keep this channel very lighthearted, very family friendly, but this year my inbox has been flooded with a lot of hate. Some deserved, a lot of it not. And there are many screenshots from certain members of the OG clan that are bigoted and mean-spirited and were not something that I was going to be very welcoming of in my community. I don't really believe in ever giving hate a platform, which is why I have never spoken about it until now or brought any of that to mind to the best of my ability. Now, it is also important to point out the many times that I have said I have no hatred towards the OG clan and never have. There are certain members of the OG clan that I do have grievances against, and those are justified. This all came to a head yesterday when the OG clan overtook the Corgi clan to become the number one clan in Territorial. Here was my response from the stream. They're the giant killers. Let them have their moment. No need to take away from it. They definitely earned it. They put a lot of respect. They put a lot of effort in, and they definitely deserve that. We can get that back. It's not bad. And if we don't, congratulations to them. I mean, you guys gotta also keep in mind, they put in like 151 hours consecutively playing this game to even get close to us. I don't know how much they put in this recent effort to close the gap that was 3 points, but they put in effort. Corgi, we are no longer on top. Yeah, we talked about that already. Congratulations to OG. They put in the effort. They deserved it. Let's get real. They put in a lot of effort. So no ill will against OG. Despite this, several members of the OG clan joined into the chat to kind of rub it in. It was mostly lighthearted and spirited, and I didn't mind it. No one was banned up until one player joined, OG Solo. If you don't know who OG Solo is, he's one of the co-leaders of the OG clan and one of the people who I've received a few screenshots of saying some not nice things about me. When he joined, I told him that there were some things we needed to talk about before we could ever, just have him in chat. And I banned him and said, if you want to chat, my Discord is open. Let me know. And honestly, fully expected that to be the last time that I was going to hear from him because of the screenshots I had previously read. To his credit, he did message me back and said, hey, I've got nothing personal against you. Want to work on our relationships? And to that, I confronted him with one of the more egregious screenshots and being, well, let's take this into consideration. And to his credit, he owned it. He said it was out of line and he apologized. And let me just be very clear. I have nothing but respect for someone who's willing to do that because the easy thing and the right thing are not always the same thing to do. So when he says that he's going to try and do better, we had a conversation about leadership. And we can't control everyone in our clans, but he said he was going to do his best to temper down the anti-Corgi sentiment and to try and make it a more friendly environment for the Corgis. As for my part, I will do the same because, truth be told, as much as I've tried to be a positive member, some of this has gotten to me, and I've not always been the nicest person to the OG clan. So here comes the hard part. I'm going to ask you to do the same and drop the beef. Now, I'm not asking every single person to drop every single grievance against every single person. I understand there's some very valid reasons that some people don't like each other. What I am asking is if you are hating just to hate outside of a spirited rivalry is to let it go. We in the territorial community are a very small niche part of the internet, Our community is dwindling and is more important than for us now more than ever to rally together and being a welcoming community for new members to join. So I humbly ask that if you're going to play with a Corgi tag, that you be a good ambassador for it and live up to the standards that we are a friendly and welcoming clan and that we don't have beef with anybody. We have spirited rivalries just like every other clan, but we don't exist as vehicle of hatred. So with that, that's where today's video is going to end. I'm sorry if you came here for a regular territorial video. I felt like this was something that needed to be addressed. There will be regular territorial videos coming out the rest of this week with a tutorial series coming out tomorrow, and I will be streaming for Clan Wars happening at 9:30. Hope to see you there. For now, thank you so much for being here. I'll see you in the next one.